Yeah, intently. That's why you can't do two things. You can't listen and talk. So I am listening. This is what listening looks like.
This is what
This is what listening looks like.
Take note.
That's a fact. That AJ, we got the intro. That's it right there. This is what listening looks like. That's a fact.
You're now tuned in.
You're now tuned in.
You are now tuned in
You're now tuned in.
You are now tuned in
to the Juxtaposition Podcast.
Here you go, that musical shit again.
Yeah, right. Like we all know.
I can't believe I missed
terms.
that. I'm mad at myself.
You should be. Let me get into this podcast. Welcome to episode 38 of the Juxtaposition Podcast, aka the Extraordinary Nobodies, aka the Starting Five, aka the Five Heartbeats, aka Four Heartbeats in the Possible. I am your host, Varston Your Hall. We are five deep today. The guys are back. Good spirits. How are y'all doing?
Yeah,
Good, good.
Feeling great.
Full lineup.
How are you?
I cannot believe y'all did not see the Earth, Wind, and Fire versus the Isley Brothers. Did y'all at least see the pictures?
Not
Did y'all at least see?
Not
I saw the
y'all.
pictures.
Them.
I'm sorry, Zoe. My fault, Zoe.
You know I did.
But did y'all at least see some clips? Y'all see the vibes? Like
I saw
the mink,
vibes.
the
I saw
mink,
the
meme.
the beard.
It was like
Man.
Steve Harvey was trying to be
He wanted to be in a group.
He wanted to be Dirt.
What's
He
the
wanted
chick name
one of the
that went on
elements.
stage with
Lil
Jay-Z
Mama?
and Alicia Keys? Yeah.
Lil
Oh,
Mama.
It was like
yo, he
Steve Harvey
definitely was.
was
That's
trying to be
accurate.
Lil Mama so
you call
hard.
Steve Harvey Lil Mama. That's why.
Big Papa and shit. What's shaking, man? I feel good spirits. I feel like there's a lot of good things happening in the world right now. I credit it to it being April. My mom's birthday is in a week, so I'm in good spirits. I'm feeling pretty good about all that. How are y'all doing?
We good, but I'm good. You know, I don't want to speak for everybody else, but I think they good too. But I'm
Okay.
good, man. You know, just working, trying to navigate through this whole little coronavirus thing. Still getting ready for the new role, and about to go on vacation. So I'm super excited about that. Definitely need it. So I'm excited. I'm good.
That's amazing. You know what, James? That's a good place to stop and then move on to the question of the week, because what I've noticed that we haven't done in a while is had like a little mental health check. So the question of the week of this week is, what's harmonious in your life? What's keeping you grounded right now? What's one thing that's keeping you grounded, to give you that energy, that's making you feel like, you know what, from day to day, I can count on this?
Kids.
Okay.
Like that's, whatever is going on in outside world, whatever gets you all tight and upset, and like you can't bring it to the crib. And even if you do, like they just bug out, so you just wind up laughing even when you ain't trying to. So
Right.
it's like, all right, let's have some fun around here.
I like it. Cleveland, how about you? What's keeping you grounded these days?
In the same vein, man, I'm gonna go with my daughter and my wife. I think with my daughter, it's just crazy because she'll be 14 next month. And it's just crazy to see how she's, I know. Crazy to see how she's growing up, how intelligent she is, how much she knows, how much she thinks she knows. But then with my wife, I see her coming into her own. Like, I feel like she's really found a calling in mental health. And I'm just happy that like we were able to work together and figure out a plan and create a space for her to pursue that. And we made a commitment to make a change a couple years ago. It was a hard choice, like career change for her that required like just a lot of changes in the household, but it was all worth it. So that keeps me grounded, seeing them functioning and being great in their own right.
Shout out to a supportive husband as well. You know what I mean?
Right on.
I try to be.
Kevin, what's going on with you? What's keeping you grounded these days, bro?
Just acknowledging like the blessings that exist around me that I might have taken for granted when I was younger, like my parents,
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like being 6'2".
Nah, I ain't. I did that. Well, that was whatever. I don't even know. I only got one.
Said that was whatever. I get that. That's mine.
Yeah, I mean, I got lucky actually. See my parents.
Facts, me too.
That's what's up.
But man, just really appreciate like that my parents are in good space. I can call them, talk to them, and go see them. And my biggest thing about them is that they can cohabitate together and discover the new selves within each other now. So I'm trying to kind of encourage them to do more activities together. It kind of, taking my time with that, but then appreciating family time. I think that's something to like really like give it its flowers right now. So that's keeping me grounded, really, like just spending day by day with them, watching them grow.
That's dope.
That's what's up,
that's
man.
pretty much it.
That's dope. James, how about you? What's keeping you grounded? What's keeping you harmonious these days?
I would say just, being appreciative of kind of what I have. A good friend of mine, Shannon Sharp.
He's my guy too.
Word up. That's my dog.
He had mentioned something on Undisputed when he was saying that he likes or he hates losing more than he enjoys winning, and that kind of what motivates him. And I'm like, that kind of resonated with me because you understand, where you come from.
Yep.
So you appreciate the wins, but you work that much harder to ensure that you don't lose it.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, it's just being appreciative of everything that's coming, but just continue to work hard so that you can maintain it.
I love it. For me, what's been going on is my dad, yo. Me and my dad check in. There has never been a time since I've lived in California that when me and my dad get on the phone, that it's a less than a half-hour conversation. He is me, son. He talks. I get everything from him.
You're
like
him.
I am.
I believe he was born first.
I mean, some would say. But nah, like my dad is my guy, man. Like, and as I've gotten older, I'll say this: sometimes we want to have this disconnect from our parents, just because you a kid growing up, you're like, I'm my own man, X, Y, and Z. Me and my dad has never had that disagreement, but what we've had is opportunities to realize how much I am like him. And now that, I'm in my mid-30s, the conversation that we have, this level, he pours into me like I pour into the people that I love. And it's wild. And it's like, it's crazy. So we had a conversation the other day, and he was just like, there's no doubt to anything that you can do. That's some shit that I would say to the people that is in my life. But when it comes back to you, when you believe it, it's like, damn, like my dad still has the ability to motivate me like nobody else can. So shout out to my dad, man.
Shout out, that's my guy too. Shout out to Pop Fauntleroy.
Yeah, man. He loves all of y'all. He asks about y'all all the time, by name too. Like he loves y'all, man.
So my pop, when I was in Jersey a couple of weeks ago, whenever it was, the last time I was in Jersey, my dad, he always talks about how before the wedding, when we were sitting around in the room just talking, he was like, man, I wish I would have recorded that. He was like a bunch of young Black men just sitting around talking about things that we wouldn't have ever thought to be talking about business infrastructure and all kinds of stuff. He was like, that was just so amazing to me. He always talks about how we have an amazing group of friends, and he loves the podcast. He loves it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Shout out to your dad too, man. Your dad is a cool guy, man. Like, there's nobody cooler, man.
He be chilling. You should have seen him.
He just turned 60. He was killing.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Yeah, man. Happy birthday.
I mean, that brings me to the point of why we're all collected here today, is we are here to amplify the voice of the modern Black man. And I think we've gotten a lot of those, I don't want to say compliments along the way, where it's like, yo, like y'all are X, Y, and Z. And we appreciate that. And we want to continue to make sure we do that. And if you are listening to this and you do like what we have going on, share this shit, man. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't be stingy with this. This ain't pizza. Share, man. Share this.
It's not pizza.
This ain't pizza. Share this shit. Before we kick it over to Zoe for Zoe Knows, I do want to let y'all know that this podcast would be successful if we discuss the communication patterns of men and highlight the unwritten rules of male communication. Ladies, if you're listening, I know that you always say that we don't listen to you. We don't say the right things, but you wanted to let us describe how we want to be communicated to this episode. Get your pencil and paper out, get your iPhone, get your notes. Just write it down. We're not talking to you. We're talking around you. We're talking to ourselves about how we want to be communicated to. All right? Got that? Bet. Now, with that said, I'm kicking over to my man for, you know what time it is.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
Hey, yo, Zoe knows this. Zoe knows that. Zoe light skin. Zoe stay black.
So what do you do?
Hey, there we go. Cleveland. So what do you know? I feel like you always gotta follow that whole verse with that. Like
Exactly.
so I just want to welcome everybody. It's a good night. So Zoe knows it's gonna be quick today because I really want to get to the topic because you know I don't got no problem telling people how I want to be treated. So let's get to it. But first, still going on with this Derek Chauvin, whatever his name is, case. I've actually been watching a couple of what do they call those
Trial.
people testifying, in the trial, the witnesses, and then even without the witnesses, some of the professional experts, as they put it, the people that they brought in, and man, it's just good to hear that. I mean, I have common sense. So I'm not the other 12 people or 8, however many jurors there are. I don't know if they have what I have, which is common sense. I will hope so. But
I hope so too.
The way they breaking this down, the prosecution is like, yo, I don't even want to get to say the words and jinx it, but it should be pretty easy to make the decision that they supposed to make.
Eric Gordon, you in? Eric Gordon, you out?
Yeah. Like listen, anytime you got other officers and supervisors, like that blue wall of silence is long gone in this case. There are about 3 different people who work in the same precinct as him is all like, nah, yo, you fouled, you OD, you wrong.
But it's especially true because he's had a history of this type of behavior, right?
Correct.
So
and
his blue wall of get out of jail free cards, his PBA cards are expired. Yeah,
they're like, yo, you making our life difficult, my nigga. You
making it hot.
So,
but do you think he can, like, they're gonna be able to do like murder? I feel like they got manslaughter in the bag, but
it's a murder 3, I think, a 3rd degree or something like that.
3rd degree murder.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but there's like multiple charges, so it's like 3rd degree murder and then like manslaughter of some sort. I thought it was like 2. I thought it was like
it's 3 charges.
2nd degree, 3rd degree, and then manslaughter.
More on court TV. What you got?
I ain't really been paying attention. I just want to hear the words guilty.
Got you. Yeah. No, I think it's I believe it's 2nd and 3rd degree murder and then a manslaughter charge. I'm saying that I think they got the manslaughter charge in the bag, but the murder charges is where I always get nervous because
that's a nail in the coffin.
We haven't seen or heard the defense yet. So it's like his lawyer is gonna put a case for him.
He has been. You ain't see the clips where he goes the counter for him?
Yeah, but he's just basically questioning
those
the prosecutor's witness. Okay. That's not his examination.
Yeah.
He just cross-examined. That's not his witness. That's not his.
Well, he's terrible at it. Just to let you know.
So that's my worry is that they always find ways to, the way the law is written, to justify not to find guilty for that. Manslaughter is you kill someone mistakenly.
By accident. Right.
You know what I mean? Essentially, that's obviously in the bag, but that's like a 1 to 3 year sentence. You get out 8 months in good behavior if you're a cop, probably. I'm just assuming that, which is terrible. That's why that murder charge needs to be on there.
Yeah, Hot 97, they were saying they don't think he's gonna get more than 5 just because, like James said, like there's always some weird loophole. But I don't know, man. I haven't seen no loophole because even with the prosecution, they've been diving into their policies of that precinct. Like they've been, isn't the policy this? Isn't it that? And
another cop, I believe, I'm not sure if it's from that particular police department, but in Minnesota, he was found guilty of, I believe, 3rd degree murder of a white lady. He was a black cop, fired his gun and killed a random, I guess a bystander white lady. And they were able to say and got convicted of 3rd degree murder, I believe. So that's a precedent, in my opinion.
Right.
If you don't, then you know what it really is.
Yeah, exactly. That's a precedent. So they should be able to do that.
I think what's so frustrating is that the fact that this man had the audacity to even take this thing to trial when he knows what he did shows that he's willing to risk the fact that he might get off or might not get what he knows he deserved. And that in itself is a little bit frustrating. Like, so we get to see it all play out, but at the same time, it's like, yo, he's doing this because he knows there's a chance that it could go the other way. And that just shows how much we can't rely on this system.
Yeah.
All you need is one juror to say not guilty.
And the whole thing is
all you need is one, and the whole thing is done.
Well, to touch what Cleveland said, like, it's funny because I just seen a video clip from Roland Martin News where some dude was in handcuffs, and they said the cop put the handcuffs around his hand and punched the dude in the face, like on some brass knuckles shit. And then the dude, when he got handcuffed, he was in the squad car, and then the cop pulled him out, and the guy like fell and sat to the ground, and the cop closed the door on his head. He ain't dying, nothing, but he was like, "Yo, you going to jail for that?" He's like, "No," he said, "You getting fired? Your body camera on?" And the cop was like, "Yeah, I turned it on just for you." Like, that's the boldness that, like, yeah, and what? Like, I'm gonna send it to y'all later. It's crazy. So it is some wild stuff, like you said, Cleveland, where they just like, you don't even care.
Man, those body cameras need to be activated. I feel like they should be running 24/7.
Y'all clock a McDonald's worker's heavier than that, like.
Yeah, like those. It shouldn't be an option to turn your body camera on or off.
No,
it should just be you click that shit on and that's it. They can go ahead and delete all that other data. They don't need it all.
Exactly.
I got to store it.
Yeah, just sift through it and keep it moving. So, but other than that, next we got updates with the Deshaun Watson stuff, which is another crazy case. Now. I feel bad because Shannon Sharp, he had to play it real easy, kind of like how I do on here, Bob, where you be like, yo, don't say that.
Yeah.
Like, because he's like, I don't know, I've never been, he had to deal with the disclaimer. I've never been assaulted before. I've never been,
right.
I just don't understand, like, because the lady testimony or something, statement, should I say public statement, was like, I walked into the room and he was on the table, under the sheet or whatever, fully naked. And I got nervous, whatever. And Shannon Sharp was like, usually you would say, "Hey, I don't do naked ones," and walk, like, so this either you put some on or this service is not going to be rendered.
I'm gathering this with context clues, but I don't know the situation.
So can we got over like 20 women
long.
came out and accused him of sexual assault, but not criminally. It's a civil case. So,
but all at like massage parlors.
So these are all masseuses that he goes in there, and then they say he did some extra shit with them, or tried to, or something. Like one girl said he like was naked. Like that's not. I don't know if that's a.
Bro, there's like massage parlors.
Most of them,
they tell you like
get comfortable.
Yeah, take your clothes off.
So,
but like, not all of them. But not all of them.
But if they don't, they would tell you like, oh yeah, nah.
So here's what we have to say. Here's what needs to be said. We don't know who these women are. We don't know what their level of comfort was. We don't know what this establishment's rules are, right? So we can't make assumptions about what did or didn't happen. What we can do is report the news. I'm not giving my opinion. I don't know what the fuck. I wasn't in that room.
But it got a little crazy. So I just thought it was a little odd that like everyone's crying and distraught. And
the timing is very
but
much.
Like you don't want no criminal charges to the person,
right?
That's to me.
Nah, but they said Houston police is involved now.
Of course they are.
To show face, but it's been going on for already almost 2 months. You ain't like, come on, what are we talking about? So anyway, that's that. I don't like to lie. I like to tell the truth. So, we're gonna talk about the truth.
That's how you want to enter that segment.
Yes, and since we talk about wild shit, we're gonna talk about the truth. And boy, did the truth get set free.
They set his ass free for real.
Paul Pierce, the truth, decided that he was gonna post his own party. He was gonna snitch on himself,
bro.
He had a Instagram live party or Facebook live, whichever social media he was on, where he decided to smoking weed, having shorties in the background, dancing like the tip drill video, and drinking and all that. Now he wouldn't have got fired from ESPN, which he did, had somebody else video recorded it and just posted it, because then that would have been they invaded his privacy. He might have got suspended or something like that.
But he did it.
He posted himself, and ESPN is owned by Disney, so you not.
He did it for 350 live viewers too,
which is crazy because
wait, 1,000 or just
350? Yeah, 350.
He got fired for a YMCA basketball game. He got fired for a sold out YMCA game.
Word up, yo.
That was it. Yo, but my boy sent me the joint, and I was like, "This ain't going to end well. This
Tyrese
is not
sent
going
it
to
to
end
me, and I
well."
was like, "Oh, he done."
And this was on a Friday night, mind you.
Yep.
Monday morning, got his ass out of there expeditiously.
It was like he purposely did that because he wanted to get fired.
The real me, like not trying to be funny, feels like there's an ulterior motive somewhere, somehow, some way.
Maybe
like,
it was
I don't
some
know,
type of contract that he just couldn't quit from.
Something like
so he had to leave dishonorably.
Yeah, like to get fired.
Had to get fired.
You got to collect unemployment if you can't collect unemployment if you quit.
You quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta do something.
That makes a little more
egregious.
sense.
But yeah, I mean, he made like 200 million in his career. He just got inducted for the Hall of Fame 2021 Hall of Fame. So he's gonna make money, from that additional endorsements. I'm sure he's fine. He's okay.
A mil from the ESPN gig.
Oh, I don't feel bad for millionaires. I don't.
He'll be okay.
I really don't feel bad when multimillionaires.
He'll be fine.
He can start a podcast
he got enough money
and call it "This Is My Truth" or some shit.
Yeah,
and just talk for a half hour.
Yeah, and he'll make a shit ton of money.
It's not the money though; it's defamation of character. You see how Nike just dropped him because they're afraid and they're concerned about what's going on. So
I didn't see the Nike play.
Yeah, Nike said we're gonna pause.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. Oh, I mean, this is Deshaun
Watson.
Oh, no, that's different. Oh, that's different.
Oh, okay.
People that, but I'm saying I just say that to
current
say the defamation of character. Now, my point is, it still is a thing, and you see how Nike pulled the plug on Deshaun, and then I brought that to Deshaun to say how Nike did that. So it affects your bread because it affects your character. So that's
Paul Pierce he's not worried about that.
I feel like
he's not playing ball. It's not at his height of his earnings. He still wants to live that lifestyle, I'm sure.
Yeah, but he was all he did was smoke some weed and have some chicks shake
and get a massage,
which is legal. Where nothing he did was
shake their butt.
Yeah, nothing he did was illegal, which is crazy. Like
allegedly,
in California.
Allegedly, there was gang signs thrown. I didn't see them, but allegedly, that's what they also said. I didn't see them.
I mean, that's alleged.
Who was looking at gang signs with what was in the background? Really? Why would you look at that and there's other things to look at?
TMZ will try to find anything to report on.
Yeah, that's BS. So, but anyway, that's the wrap up for Zoe Knows, man. It's been a wild week with a wild stuff going on. So please, mom, stop snitching on yourselves, please. Don't post your own.
Yeah, that seems intentional. The more we talked about that,
he's too old for that. Like,
yeah, he knows better. That seems
he held
strategic.
He held the phone like he went to college in the 90s too. Like, it was like mad close to your face.
He was like this, like.
Yeah, it's like, you relax. Before we go any further though, we do have to send prayers and thoughts to DMX and his family.
Definitely.
It's been reported that DMX is in the ICU in grave condition. So, praying for the best, hoping that he actually makes a recovery. Yeah, man, just want to take some time to salute DMX and send some prayers his way. With that being said, let's get into the main topic, which I alluded to about a couple minutes ago. We're talking about communication with men. Communication with men. There are things that I could say to either one of y'all, and y'all know what I'm saying without me saying it. That does not work for my girlfriend. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. So the first question I have is, we always hear about the disconnect, mainly from women to men, like, communicating with us is difficult. What are some unwritten rules of male communication that men get, but women are just like, well, you didn't say it, so I don't know what it is. What are some things that we do inherently that we want them to get, but they just don't?
I think when we run out of words and we want them to know that we heard them and that we understand what we're saying. Like, you ever get to a point where you just you're out of words. Like, I have nothing else to say today. But the conversation is still flowing in, but I don't even have enough to tell you that I'm receiving what you're saying. And I'm just like, all right, cool. Are you listening or are you just saying, all right, cool? No, I'm actually listening. I'm actually listening. I
had a long day today. I had a long day.
I'm just out of words.
Intently. That's why you can't do two things. You can't listen and talk. So I am listening. This is what listening looks like.
This is what listening looks like.
Take note.
That's a fact. That AJ, we got the intro. That's it right there. This is what listening looks like. That's a fact. You want me to actively listen? You want me to nod too? What you want? What else you want?
I think I would say with that, sometimes it's reversed. Sometimes because we are natural problem solvers and they just want to vent sometimes. So it's like we be like, oh, well, then you do this and do that. And then you wind up getting an argument because you was an active listener. So like Kev
you got the follow-up questions. You got you ready for like
we're listening for the problem. We're listening for the problem.
Oh, so and don't you dare bounce that she's the problem.
Hold on. We're getting away from the question.
I'm sorry. I say less is more. I say less is more. Understanding that less is more in communication for men, in most cases, like, you know, in the art of that, right? Not really giving it too much rules, but just saying we don't say too much, we don't do too much, well, until the moment is needed, right? And it's like, okay, I'm coming in. And depending on who you're speaking to, that person might come in and stay there. And you might have opened up a can of whoopworms that you ain't want. But men don't speak too much. Is less is more. And I would want them to understand that less is just more. That's just my cue.
And also, Kev, if you don't mind me going a little further with that aspect, what does it mean? Like, how can women learn to read the tea leaves with men, so to speak? Like, how can they learn to read us without us having to say, read me?
Context clues. That's how we reference our communication channel as far as men. Like, we take basketball, we take sports, we take things we like, we take things that we can relate to and transfer that into whatever the topic is. So we could be talking about going to the movies, okay? And then we're gonna say, like, we're gonna set up a play, you know, we're gonna go back door, and we're gonna catch and instead of catching this first play, we're gonna catch this alley-oop on a backdrop. Like, and that could just mean we're not gonna watch the first movie.
We're just going right.
So
it's audible.
Clues. Yeah. So listen to the context. Listen to what we were actually speaking about at that moment, and then try to. And that's challenging because you got to really know, you know. But it comes with really like building a vibe and building a communication and learning more about what each other like. That really what it comes from.
And I think that each and every person is different. Every relationship is different. Cleveland, I wanted to ask you that same question. What are some things that men get about men that women miss?
Oh man, so men have this. I think you mentioned this before. We have this unspoken thing where we can understand what each other are saying without expressing a full sentence. Like, we understand the sentiment of what somebody's trying to say before they complete it. And I think one thing that men get about men is, like, men are we react and we act with a lot of times with action as opposed to words, right? Our actions mean a lot. Our words mean something, but our actions mean a whole lot. So when we see an action that another man is taking, we can tell what he means by that action. Because we're action oriented. We're almost performance oriented in a lot of ways.
Right.
So it's like, I get what he meant by buying you that taquito for lunch. Like, you don't get what he meant by buying you that taquito.
Okay. Are we talking about work husbands?
Yeah. In a sense. There.
I mean,
that's what I mean. Like, all right, so he just happens to know that your favorite lunch snack is a taquito.
How he know your favorite flower? How do he know? He remembered because you told him 3 weeks ago.
It's about the action. It's about the action.
Yo, what your man
he's
Drake,
about that action.
Didn't Drake just spit a bar in the last song we talked
I know
about?
those hugs.
Yeah, I took Shorty to the club. She hugged on somebody. Like, come on, y'all know how the lyrics go. That's an action that we pick up on that some significant others or whoever might be like, oh, it's nothing. Or night, like,
ladies, we're gonna have a whole conversation about work husbands. I've been a work husband.
Hello.
I don't think I have.
I've been a work husband. Anyway, so same question to you. What are some things that men get about men that women miss?
I think it's both ways. Like, women get about women that we miss. I think it's like a species thing. Like, it's an energy, it's an aura, it's a we have the same wires in our brain. So
Mm-hmm.
we always like we think alike because of the creature that we are. Like that whole men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
Right.
If that was
I'm from
like
Pensgrove.
well, if that was you're from the Grove part of Mars, yes. Like so, so if that was the case, it's like everything on there we would know because you're from there. Like you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right. You
could
know the
under-
landscape.
Yeah. I think most of it is the fact is action. They don't realize that they're the ones who set the precedent for us to be action oriented.
Mm.
That's what I think.
Talk more about that.
Because a lot of times we like even you'll hear some, "Wait, but you said it don't matter. But this is look, you didn't see what happened, or I did da 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 da, or whatever the case may be, right? A lot of times it's because whenever the critique of a male, it's 90% of the time of the action that we either did or did not do.
Right. Or did not do. Right.
Yeah. Or we are not doing something. Oh, he ain't this. He ain't that because he didn't do this.
You know what? You know what? So you might be on to something. I've never been in a relationship where she said, well, you ain't say. It's always, well, you ain't do.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the performance, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
And even think about that. Even we ain't even gonna get down that rabbit hole of performance, so to speak, because again, they put that expectation that if you ain't performing, you ain't staying around.
I mean, true. Let's keep it light. Because Zoe going for the ribs. We ain't going for the ribs yet.
See, I just throw a little sprinkle out. Like, you 40 on it, sprinkle me.
But I do want to talk about what are some things that, because I think we're talking around it. I'll dive in. I think that what we're speaking about is there are times where we want the women in our lives to put that other piece to the puzzle.
In
like
there, what?
Stop it. I don't want to have to say,
just
babe, I had a long day, hold me down. Right. Because if I feel like shut up. But I was going to say to that point on some silly shit, what ends up happening is if y'all wives had a bad day the day before, right? Y'all gonna come in with her favorite food, some flowers, something where it's like you just understand in the air. That's like, let me hold it down. Let me do something to lift her spirits, whatever. But because we're action oriented, if we had a hard day, damn, bro, you good? It's like, no, nigga, help me.
Nah, not even that. Yo, listen, let me explain something to you, right? And it's probably gonna get worse once you jump the broom because they just hit a switch like I don't even care no more. F you, I got you. Like,
look at the ring, like, damn, this shit nice.
Like they let you air dry, like straight bounce pass air ball out of bounds. Like when you come in the house with the emotions, the problem is this: we have expectations because we are action oriented. We expect the same. We put out certain things that we expect the same. That's where we set ourselves up.
And that's Zoe rule number one. That is Mr. Williams rule number one.
Yep.
You cannot expect other people to treat you the way that you treat them.
Bingo.
And that's how it goes. James, you've been quiet. Let me get something, man. Talk to me.
So I was kind of just letting y'all talk. And then, when I was supposed to ask me a question, he didn't. He went to himself.
That's right.
Wow, you supposed to know this, man. We should have a good communication.
That's right.
Look, Justice League, if you're listening, my role is to be Chris Paul. Sometimes Chris Paul shoot, yo. Sometimes he shoot.
No, so I think one thing that we understand is, we understand what's implied, right? So if, for example, if you're about to go out, you're getting dressed, wife comes out, how do I look? And your response is damn, right? It's implied that you're beautiful. It's implied that you look amazing. It's implied that I like what I'm seeing. But if those words are not expressed and it's just damn, it's like, well, why am I not beautiful then? Like, well, that was implied. That's what I was saying. I mean,
that's the expectation that has been set. Like, but that's a good point. That's a really good point.
Damn, what, you don't like it? I gotta change. Like, no.
So, and I think men, and I hate generalizing because all men obviously are not like this.
This whole shit is generalizing all of it.
Generalization. I guess men tend to under communicate in a way.
That's where I want to go.
They don't over express everything. It's more succinct and to the point. Whereas with when you have those communication and conversation with women, it's more drawn out. A lot more words are being used before you get to the end point of the conversation.
It's mad words, yo. It's mad words.
That goes back to the when you say a few things, you're implying, what you're trying to actually say, but you're just trying to say it shorter.
James, prime example of there's usually more words before the point. The prime example is stories about work. Stories about work with us. How was work today? Bad. Why was it bad? Bob got on my nerves.
Right.
Reverse it. How was work today?
Sally,
why was it bad? Remember
again.
3 weeks ago I told you about Tasha? 3 weeks ago. You told me about Tasha 3 weeks ago. Yes, I told you about Tasha.
Hold
3
on,
weeks
Cleveland,
ago.
you in your head. Tasha.
Yes, you trying to put it together. Is that the one that you got to come up with?
Is that the one? Hold on. Here's a cheat code. Even if you don't know if that's the one, you ask, is that the one? Because you remember one story, at least one story.
And that'll give you like a if this was like third grade, you get a sticker on next to your name
for participation.
Or when you in college. You in college, you send your professor the blank Word doc and the stuff wasn't in it. Oh, my bad.
That's the one you worked with last Friday, right? You worked with her last week or 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. All right, yeah, 3 weeks ago. Tasha for 3 weeks. Got it.
Oh, that's Tasha. Okay.
Got your cool points.
You know what's interesting though? I'm gonna be on the contrary of y'all. Every relationship that I've been in, I'm that person.
Oh, you said the background.
I give context. I'm communicative as hell. That's me. So I've never really fell into the stigma of under communicating. I might tell you too much, right? So for me, I've always found myself, if I've been with a woman that over communicates too, it's an issue. It's like it's too much. Like it doesn't.
We
really
talk
work.
to each other too much. This is not good.
I think by nature, I'm a strong communicator. I think what some situations can teach you though is like if you've ever been criticized or ridiculed for over communicating, right? It makes you want to double back. So it's like I'm telling you why you always telling me how you feel. It's like, all right, I won't tell you how I feel then. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think that goes from the being ignored and not listening or paying attention because you're a repeat offender at this point, and I had to bring it up again.
Right.
So that's why you keep saying, "Wow." Always be like, "Well, what's the common denominator?" Because something didn't change.
Or you know what I've gotten? Also, I've never been with a guy that communicates like you. To Kevin's point, this is what healthy communication looks like. The fuck you mean? Like,
I take offense to that. Dude, you don't take offense to that?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I'll say you should not, but there is a problem with that though, because men are now being
like, we ain't supposed to say shit.
Like
we ain't supposed to express
emotional.
yourself.
Like, we're not supposed to be
right. Yes.
So that becomes,
she's saying you act like a little bitch. Kev, no.
Right.
Dang.
So with that,
she tucked her lips in when she said it too.
Yeah,
hard.
Yeah, she did. She
hard
like,
B.
She tucked her head to the right.
Yep.
Point her finger at you.
With the finger on the other side.
And she said it, but now you're programmed or you condition yourself to withhold your emotion, and then
I ain't no bitch. I ain't no bitch. Talking to yourself, I ain't no bitch. Who you think you're talking to?
If she says that, then it's a defense mechanism, and you're not wrong for expressing yourself.
No, if she says that, the only defense she's going to have is defense on the way out. You out of here, baby. Is
steer right through.
If I can't express myself, and if I can't communicate with you about how I feel and what I'm thinking about, what I don't like and what I do like, then this is not going to flow. And
that comes with the
important point.
Go ahead, Cleve.
I was just going to say that's such an important point because honestly, it takes a lot for a man to be vulnerable enough to say things such as, here's how I feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it takes a lot for me to trust you with my feelings. So if a man approaches you with his feelings, it's so important to
handle it with care.
And handle it with care, because our natural mechanism, if it's not received correctly, is to never do it again.
Yo,
I see how you handled that. I'm not doing that again.
We ain't doing that no more.
Yo.
That's not gonna happen. And you know what's important, because it goes when you try to be honest and truthful with your partner and they can't handle the truth. What do you think is gonna happen? They're gonna lie to you because you can't handle the truth. You know.
You know what, Kev? Even to that point, there's a misdirection that happens often. Also, when we as men give our vulnerability to the wrong person, it spoils us for the next woman. Right?
That's another topic.
It is, but if we are trying to, so there is a blueprint for what a good man is supposed to be, right? And I'm not saying this is what we subscribe to, but in the ethos, there's a stereotype of what a good man is, right? If you embody that,
what you do, that's it. Is all.
But look, if you embody that to the wrong girl, you soft.
Correct.
If you embody that to the woman that has been lied to, disrespected, not had the real guy that like you are, then you'll be accepted.
No, but then she'll self-sabotage because she like something.
Shut up. No, she won't. She won't. She'll accept you for the human that you are.
Nah, you did point on that last week though, when you said there was a point in time where you had to
play games.
Yes, and be an a-hole on purpose because of how you received, like what you saw work. Like that.
And I had been in a position where I gave my A1 to somebody that should have been a D or should have got some D, and that's it. But either way, I was given goodness to somebody that didn't deserve it. So it jaded me, and I'm like, oh, this the way we playing? Yeah. Like it's almost like you're in a basketball court and I'm just trying to chill. Somebody talk shit like, oh, okay. You must not know.
Hard foul. You know how I do, bro. I'm like, oh, we playing on arcade mode now.
Right. You must not know what this can turn into. You must not know what this can turn into. So okay, great. So we on to something good. Let's advance the conversation to couples now. What are some things that can be done that can enhance the communication channels between men and women in relationships? Like, what can be done tangibly that can say like, yo, we should do this, we should do that to enhance our communication?
Go ahead.
Have the toughest conversations over food. Like whatever you like the most, enjoy the most.
I like that.
Have that over your best favorite meal.
That's a good one. I was gonna say, I would just give the advice for people to take a step back and think about the other person, because I think 90% of the problems is like stuff starts to get one-sided. I'm not saying whether it's men or women, but at least from our perspective as men, is because we're so, like I said, we're action oriented, but we don't never see it back. Shoot, even what's the name said it again in that same verse. Drake, he was like, I would do more that I know I wouldn't get back, or whatever. I'm paraphrasing, but he pretty much said, I will put out my friends know that you wouldn't do the same. Like, that's weird.
I think two things, right? And I think this first part ties back to kind of what we were talking a little bit about earlier. When it comes to communicating, I think we have to, especially as men, let go of our pride and ego, right? So if you were hurt in a way in the past when you try to communicate about something and it was shut down, don't let that tie you up to communicate with the next person. But
it's tough.
Don't
go chasing waterfalls.
Don't hold things in, right? Because we may not find every little thing may not bother us, right? And you don't mention it, you don't communicate it, you don't talk about it. But for some reason, those little things will start adding up and you don't realize it. And
and then they walk across the TV.
Yep. And it's like you slip out, walk across the TV mid dunk on a tight game, and then you just flip out.
And you can't even see the dunk.
Exactly. So
I'm out of here.
So definitely communicate, things that do bother you. I wouldn't say, I always say every little thing shouldn't bother you, right? Learn to let some things go. It's not that serious. But those things you feel like you can't obviously communicate that and have that conversation.
James, you bring up a fantastic point, and around the ego and letting things go. So I'll bring the question to the rest of y'all. Have y'all been in positions where conversations happen and you shut down? Or have that happened to you in the past, and how did you get past that?
I've definitely had the people.
You mean conversation shut down? Like
you are like Kevin.
Man, fuck this. I'm done. I ain't talking about this shit
Right.
no more.
Right.
Yeah, I think it gets to a point.
Or get quiet and just sit there.
Stupid stare.
Or just turn off. Right off.
You're
Yeah.
like, hello, Earth to you. I've definitely had that.
Sometimes
Can I tell
it's
y'all how
better
that
to do it
drives
that
me
way.
nuts? That
It's
don't
better
drive
to
y'all
just-
nuts?
What?
Yes.
Get disconnected from
Because
the
that usually
conversation?
happens either if the other person is getting like completely quiet.
They wrong.
Usually they realize that they're wrong, and now it's hard to admit it. Right?
You think so?
For me,
I disagree.
When
I
I
disagree.
get quiet,
Nah, I think they talk the most.
This
They
might
try
not
to
be
defend it.
right
Yeah.
because I'm different from myself. For me, if like when I get
Hold
quiet,
on. What you say?
He said something about he don't know himself. He different from
no,
himself.
I'm different from what
he
I
two
just
niggas.
said.
Oh, okay.
From what I just said, I think for other people, not me,
James
when I get
and
quiet, they
Seuss.
feel like they're wrong. But for me,
Seuss.
if I get quiet, it's because I'm looking at you like you really just said that.
Yeah.
Like, there's no point for me to continue to have this conversation.
Yo,
I've seen
I gotta-
James look at people like that.
it's cool. So let's move to nonverbals, right? Because I think that I've been in relationships where my facial expressions stop the conversation. I don't mean for them to do so, but because they riled up and I'm like, they're like, but why you gotta do all that though? I'm like, oh what? I just made a face.
I ain't do nothing.
I just made a
I just looked at
face.
you like you are incompetent and beneath me.
That's the face that like, damn well that shit didn't happen.
Oh, when they rewrite history, yeah. My phrase. My mom say, "Look, if you go rewrite history, everybody who was here gotta be dead." And I'm still living. Cut that shit out. Don't try to make.
We need a Miss Kim drop because she got at least one ad lib per joint.
Oh yeah, word up.
But nah, have y'all been in a position where your nonverbals have been a stop in terms of how the communication is flowing?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think with me, I listen, and sometimes I make faces, and it's not even so much based upon like what they're saying, it's based upon what I was about to say in response that I stopped myself from saying. So like, you ever had like a comeback and you was like, I can't say that though. So you were like, you just stop. And they're like, why you make that face? And it's like, I made that face because I wanted to keep listening. I was like holding what I wanted to say in. So
never had that problem, Cleveland.
This is what listening looks like. That's true, teller. This is what listening.
That's the phrase that pays. I never had that problem. I usually just say it and then deal with it later.
Now, it's those nonverbals that you have when you're not really listening. You're just waiting to respond.
Mm-hmm. Those happen when the game is on. Damn, babe, that's crazy.
You double dutch.
Wow.
Oh, I'm about to jump right in. Yo, can I tell y'all? Like, I think I'm the one who has the verbal, and then like I receive the
nonverbals.
Yeah, and it's this. And I'm like,
just looking at you.
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello.
And I'm like, oh my god, that drives me insane.
Any neck movement, like when you arguing, it's over. Like I'm tight. It's like, oh, what's that? Oh, what's that? Oh, there's more. It's more there. Okay. I'm also a get it off your chest person. Like, nah, say it. No, say it. You know that dude that says LeBron's dad. He was on that.
Crooklyn, the dude from Crooklyn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He told dude
Delroy or whatever his name.
Yeah. And he told dude like, he said, yeah, why do African Americans get a chance to say the N-word, but not white people? Say it. Say it.
He said, go ahead, say it.
Please.
I'll say it with you.
He said, I'll say it with you. That's what you
go ahead, say it.
Yo,
I'll say it with you. That's me. That's me in the argument. No, say it. Go ahead. No, I'm serious. Go ahead. Say it.
He was stuck, yo.
No. Please say it.
Say what you mean what you say. Come on.
That's my friend.
Get it off your chest. Don't go to sleep with nothing on your chest. Get it off. Come on, say it.
Put it all out there. I'm a big boy.
Okay, now since we're talking about that, we got to hold ourselves accountable. On a scale of 1 to 100 in terms of percentages, how petty are you in areas of disagreement?
You asking the wrong nigga. So
I'll start with James. James, how petty are you and in your disagreements?
I'm not petty.
So that's a 0?
I think it's a 0. I can admit when I'm wrong sometimes.
So that means when you and your wife have arguments, you don't go from one room to the next doing nothing, making noise? Like,
Nah.
slamming the cabinet, getting something to drink,
Nah.
in the fridge. But wait, hold up. Does it have to be when you wrong, or could it be like you just
any disagreement? You don't got to be wrong. Okay. It's just that there's a riff. Like, all right, let's paint a scenario. You and your wife went to dinner, right? And y'all talk, you're having a good time, and then this is bad. You see somebody, and you glance that direction because you know that person, but it's not enough to like want to connect. And then after the nice dinner on the way home, you got like a half-hour drive, and she's like,
"What you was looking at?
Who was that?
Is something you like?
Who was that? You like what you mean? Well, who was what? You drive? You listening to the Isley Brothers? You about to go home and set a vibe? You driving home? Be on. And she's like, nah, like you was looking at what? And then she's like, well, I just find it funny how. And it's like, oh, man. So when you get home, you didn't do nothing wrong, but there's a disagreement. There's some space. There's some just neutral corners, right? What do you do when you want her attention, but you don't want her to know you want her attention?
It depends on where
I just get her attention. On the petty spectrum, I'm very low on the petty spectrum.
Yeah.
I'm just like, can we get past this? Like, let's just move past it. Like, we really gonna ruin the whole night.
Like, even got vulnerable. Like, come on, baby. No,
but
let's get past this.
If Cleveland with the wrong one, she's like, yes, nigga, the night is over. It's a wrap. It's go to bed. Go to bed.
I just in those situations, I'd just be like, okay, I love you. As long as you go to sleep, know that I love you. Okay, we're gonna talk about this in the morning. My feelings have not changed about you one bit.
Oh shit.
You okay? You hungry? You hungry? That's mine. You hungry?
Oh, that's a drink.
You hungry is mine.
When you hungry breaks like the white flag.
Yo, if there's any bit of beef, right?
He orders some beef.
You hungry? You ate already? You good?
You
ate. I've been home with her all day. You ate?
Kev did say go right back to the food.
No, she just had a sandwich. You ate? You want some chips with that?
No, you gotta do that. A side. Are you thirsty? You want me to get you?
I'm going to Target. You need something? Because
no. You don't want to get me started on Target, brother.
But Target,
I will never offer to go to Target.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, I gotta go. I
gotta be with you.
I'm terrible, actually. The more y'all talk, the worse I feel about myself.
Okay, go ahead, give it to us.
I am so let's say that argument happened, right? And I've definitely done this. This is how much of an asshole I am, right? So they'll be quiet, nobody saying nothing.
Oh, like
walking back. And I ain't do nothing. I don't got no attitude. I'm like, whatever. I wait until she about to lay down, and I knock her pillow on the floor. And then I'll be like, what? And now I got you conversating. Why you would stop playing? Like, nope. And
but that breaks the ice.
Yeah,
that breaks the ice
all day. I do that, or the second one, do the roll and snatch the covers clean.
Yeah. I'm good for that. I like that, but the difference is, I want to ask: are you serious or are you joking?
It depends on the topic, but I might be like a serious joke, like on some petty shit, like, oh, well, since you got attitude, you can go out there with it, because like niggas, only people who talking here. Like,
this is no attitude zone, and you violating.
Yup, exactly. That's how we do it. So,
but no, that's funny because that fits into the category of what are you doing to get her attention without getting her attention. Like, I'll fuck around and like do something silly, because sometimes on my side, the mood doesn't call for an apology. It don't call for let's piece it up. It kind of calls for like, I gotta break the ice a little bit, because this wasn't even about nothing. Like, this wasn't about shit. So how can I like you good? Like, you good, right?
That's a good point, yo. Every disagreement doesn't call for an apology.
It don't.
Sometimes you saw it one way, I saw it another way. We disagreed. That's why I pull out the can we just move past this? Because it's like there's no apologies needed. We just had some good steak. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I want to have a glass of wine and watch some Netflix and chill with you. I do not want to harbor on this one thing that happened that threw a wrench in the night.
Let's not squander this experience, babe.
Let's not squander. Let's take advantage of this moment. We need Kev. Kev got the words for these moments, but let's take advantage of this moment.
He already got the phrase of the episode.
This is what listening looks like. This is what listening looks like. That shit is epic, son. In terms of communication, what do you think? What do you think women think of our communication styles?
They suck.
No, they recognize that it's different. They'll say that it sucked just because that's what they expected. But
it's easy.
They recognize that there's a difference. They have to just recognize, in my opinion, my humble opinion, because I don't know. I'm not trying to tell anybody, but they have to recognize that men don't really care too much about a lot of things, and it's okay. And it's not like we don't care about you. We just don't care about
what you're talking about.
A lot of things that's supposed to change the mood.
I know. That's an interesting thing, Kev, in terms of I care about you. Yeah, I love you, but what you're saying,
it's the topic, is the thing. If it's gonna cause stress, we try to resolve the stress because we don't want stress. So we just don't want to disrupt too much peace, like realistically. Right. So if it sounds like it's gonna come in causing a situation, then we gotta fix it. That's just what we want to do. But in reality, I guess I'm trying to say is like, just trust that we are listening. Trust that.
Give us a benefit of the doubt
that we're paying attention.
Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of say trust that we're listening. Trust that we're listening when we say we are. Yeah, it's hard to put into words, and I guess that's what makes it so challenging. Is because how do you communicate about nonverbals, right?
Right.
And the cues, the check-ins are important. I will say the check-ins are important.
Stay there.
The check-ins are important, but the check-ins I'm referring to, I mean, this is probably more like more like Zoe, maybe now James, because James going to go through a desert island, and we'll keep it like that. But and because we don't get that often, and I feel like they forget about us. So you gotta check in with us.
That's all I was saying.
Make sure you're okay out there.
Babe, water my plant right quick. Give me some sunlight.
Check in with us. Check in.
Yeah, that's all I was saying from the beginning. It's like, yo, it's always about the other and not like, yo, why you want to play with my frog? Like,
yo, this is no joke. This is all jokes aside. I literally had a conversation with Tiffany the other day about reciprocity, right? Not about this topic, but about reciprocity and the ways that men provide and give without that same consideration on the other side. It's like, if I give you flowers, I don't get shit in return. I get your smile is my payment, right? If I'm paying the bills, or if we're going out, I'm paying for all the food. I don't get nothing in return. All I get is your happiness and you being full. And I think sometimes women have to be reminded of all those things in terms of like, all the shit that I do for you is one-sided, right? You know what I mean? Like, that but it's not at the forefront of their mind because they're used to you. They're used to you providing. Right. So sometimes you got to just remind them in whatever way is possible.
Like every once in a while, it's okay for you to say, yo, we go into the movies, or it's okay to take charge. Once we already in a committed, the courting process, I get it. I'm supposed to, I don't expect
it's all me, right?
But years and years down the line, like, yo, you could
it's been a while since you spent some money on me.
Yeah, you spend some money
communicate on me. Men communicate with, like we said, with actions, but more so than just actions, we're proactive with our actions. So it's like we do things for you as a form of communication. That's how Kev said, like, know that we're listening. How you know that we're listening is you said
we did the thing.
We did it. You said, I like these sneakers. We heard you. We bought the sneakers, right? So we didn't say, hey, yo, I'm about to go buy you these sneakers. Which color do you want? Yada. We just said, I know you like these and I got them. So we were proactively doing something that based upon something that you told us. And we like that in return sometimes.
Yes, and we're not saying like sneakers. We don't want a sweater.
And what we're not saying is if we say we want some cheeks to like give us cheeks then, but like in like 2 days.
I hate that. That's too Bill Cosby-ish. It's like forced.
But you want it though, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying no, but I'm just saying like it's like
you don't say, "Hey, babe, I want cheeks." No, you don't say that. But
I mean,
sometimes you have to. if you win Death Valley, if you win Sandland, then you know you got to communicate somehow. But here's
like
this gonna
the old Diego and just. I don't want to say it on the
snap away pants.
Yeah, I don't want to say it. I don't want to air nobody out. That's why I use the code name.
But that brings me to the next point of communication. Where does brutal honesty live within y'all communication channels of not even saying your relationship now, but like where does brutal honesty, how does that fare in your communication style in terms of receiving and giving? So you go last.
Doesn't exist.
Nah.
You can't. I mean, listen. Brutal honesty is
it's objective though. It's objective. Brutal honesty is subjective.
But it's just what it is. Brutal. Like
okay.
I mean, there's ways to communicate and there's ways to come across without really hurting someone's feelings by being brutally honest.
Let me take that off of them.
Brutal? I think they just call it brutally honest because no one likes the truth.
Listen, man.
Yeah, because it's not. Brutal is a trigger word. Brutal is a trigger word. Let's just say honesty,
honest,
truth,
candid.
You could be honest. You could be
condensed, but like no fluff. Just like condensed, raw form truth.
Man, me and my wife are so different. When we both are honest, but how we package the honesty is so different one from another. Like right. I'm more like I'm thinking of a diplomatic approach to tell somebody the truth. I'm going to get to the truth, but I want to be sure it's packaged in a way that it can be best received. I try my best to package in a way where it could be best received.
All right, Amazon.
My wife tends to be more blunt. So my wife tends to be more like
no
what it is, but she doesn't say it in a way where it's intense, where it's like, yo, you're really trying to come at me. But right. she doesn't add the packaging.
Right.
So it's like it's essential. And I think we learn from each other in that regard. So it's definitely a major part of our relationship, that honesty, but we definitely package it different. Well,
so Cleveland's Amazon, and she's like the flea market where it's just hanging there on
right. Just take it. Take it.
Yeah.
Right. Or no. Cleveland's Amazon box has the padding on the inside. Oh, hers be like in the box just flopping around.
Yeah. They put the one small item in this giant ass box.
Nah, look. I'm the one who comes to the wedding and your money is in a card. Rashonda is just gonna throw it in your hand.
She give you the dap.
She gonna give you the dap and just leave it in your hand.
I felt like my cousins did that. I felt like
enjoy that. How about you, Kev? How does the honesty? How do you like in terms of receiving it and giving it?
It's pretty fair. I think it puts our relationship in a different dynamic where it's more friendly, more competitive, more brother and sister type vibe. She told me the other day, man, I was tired the other day, right? Was working out, and she started doing this workout thing on her own. Like she got this whole online platform she work out with, and I was going to jump in with her. So I actually started working out, and I was tired. I didn't eat all day. I just had really, really low energy. I felt that within myself, and I was just going through the motion. Like imagine doing a high knee, just going really through the motion, and just really like
with mid knees. Yeah. You're going high knees with mid knees.
More specifically, like doing like lateral drills with the ladder, and like just really looking really sluggish, right? And she didn't say anything to me about it, right? And in my mind, I know it's just like I'm dogging it. I'm super dogging it right now, right? So she don't say nothing. We get to the house. And I go, man, I was so tired today. I said, I had no energy. She said, man, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, yo, you do not look athletic right now. Like, says, yo, I was thinking like, yo, is this even the same person? I was like, yo, athleticism in the basement.
Whose man's is this?
I was like, yo, I said, yo, I felt that. I was like, because in my mind, I was going through that emotion, like, yo, I don't look athletic right now, and I don't care. But that brought that out, and I'm like, yo.
Dude, that's a fire
I
part.
appreciate you.
That's a fire part, Kev, because maybe other men would have been like, "Oh nah, fuck that. I'm about to." But it's like, man, she know what time it is. She know what
I
time it
should have
is.
responded. At least you know what that looks like. Meaning, at least you know what non-athleticism and athleticism looks like. At least you can tell the difference. Like, I'm happy you can at least do
right,
that. Like,
right.
I should. That's my response to that. If she's listening.
For me, honesty has to exist, right? It has to exist. It has to live. And I'm probably the one providing it. I would say in the last, I don't know, 6-7 years, the people who are in my life kind of know that that's what I'm here to deliver. And in the vein of what Cleveland's wife provides for him is like, I'm not going to put no cut on it. This is what it is. I'm going to give it to you as is. And I'm going to do it in a way that you know that I love you. But at the same time, we're not doing this shit. I don't want to mince words when it comes to things that I don't enjoy. It's like, let's not do this because this is the outcome that'll happen. And with me and Tiff, that's something that she has to get used to, and in some ways I'm very bullish about it, but some ways I got to fall back. I'm so ingrained in just expressing myself and being like, no, I'm not doing that. And then it's like, oh, fuck, I got to find a way to make sure that she knows that I still care about her, even though I say no. And that's been the fun part about communication because I'm providing the honesty, but what I'm learning is when to interject it raw and when pause. Not pause, but more like a non-sexual. I know, but when to provide it unfiltered and when to like fall back and be like, just kind of reserve your space because I'm not used to reserving my honesty at all.
I'm like where you are in that, and y'all know that my filter game is trash. So my filter game is like Flint water. Like it just it's not. It's coming super crazy, right? So my thing is like because I think I went through a transition where I was the holding it in, the nice guy, not saying that, and I just felt like nothing worked out and people was taking advantage. So
like you don't hear me though.
Yeah, like I've 180 to like, yo, I'm never going through that again. Like we stated earlier, like so now I just laid on that. I do realize that a lot of times, even after I've probably already word vomited and said something, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But I think I do a good job of if it's something that really bothers me and I know I'm going to wild out, I'll call y'all and be like, yo, am I tripping here? And then like, yeah, but you probably shouldn't say it like that. Like, I know you and Cleveland both have been like,
it's out the bag. It's already been said.
Yeah, not all the time. Not all the time. Sometimes I'll be like, all right, maybe I'll go and take that approach. Like, because
Zoe having the best intentions, and in your mind, it sounds like this is good, right? It's like, yes, but just take that part out. just take that last part out. And he's like, all right, bet.
Which part? The fucking asshole part, right? Like, see, that's why I try to, because I know my filter game is trash. That's why I come up with excuse phrases like, don't listen to the message, not how it's delivered. All right, like
you remixing do as I say, not as I do.
As I do, exactly. Like so, like
which don't make no damn sense.
Yeah, like you like the food. Who cares that the delivery guy looked like he was on crack? Like, is your pizza good? Like
that's a fact. James, you know what time it is. But I think the main part of what we're trying to say, what we're articulating, is that we are 5 men talking about communication when women don't think we have the ability to talk about communication. We know exactly how we like to be communicated with. It might not be your particular style, but you just have to read the nonverbals, read the tea leaves, and know your guy, man. Like if you are dating and you are, getting to know somebody and you're not really sure how that works, that's one thing. But if you've been with somebody for some time, you have communication issues, you're probably not looking hard enough. You're not paying attention. And clearly you're not presenting what listening looks like. You're just out here talking on some bullshit. The final question I have for us on this topic is, how can men listening communicate their needs to their partners?
Give them a sociology or psychology book, and Maslow's theory of living is food, water, sex. really what it is.
And circle it and put it and highlight it.
Here's chapter 3 in the bio book.
There you go.
I think you got to be, it's back to honesty. I think you got to be candid and honest about what you need. Like when you're in the mood to talk and when you're in the mood to communicate, I think you have to talk to your significant other and say, here is what I need. Here's how I like to have it. Like, you just have to be honest and candid and open and have that conversation, you know.
But what if it's things that go against how a man is supposed to quote unquote look? Maybe this was before we started recording, but Kev made a great point about, you know, what if, like a hypothetical in terms of what if you want your partner to compliment you more, right? You're a man. You're not supposed to, like, how do you tell your partner, hey, yo, babe, like, tell me I'm that nigga. Like, tell me I'm fly.
But that's what you do, though. Like, that's literally what you do. Like, during that
conversation. Is it that easy, though?
I'm not saying it's easy, but I think it's necessary. I think it's something that you have to communicate.
Ego to the side, as we mentioned earlier.
Like, let me know that I look good. Let me know that I look nice today. Let me know, because you know what? That makes it easier to. All right, I'll use myself as an example. I just talked about how my wife is more straightforward with truth. I like to package it a little different. If she didn't give me compliments and that's with that same energy, I wouldn't be able to take the truth with the energy that she gives it.
For sure.
So if I look nice and she just like, oh, you look nice. But when I do something that she doesn't like, she's like, here's what it is. Boom. Well, nah, give me that energy when you telling me I look good. And then I can take the energy when you're telling me something that I may not want to know about myself.
Okay.
But I think like you just got to do it. You know what I mean?
You started talking about it, James, but you want to elaborate?
Well, I mean, that's just kind of going back to what we're saying is if you can't really communicate if you feel like the person you're trying to have that conversation with is not going to receive it well, because you're not going to be able to articulate yourself well. You're not going to be able to gather your thoughts and explain what you really want because you're afraid about how they're going to react. So you might be timid. You might not say what you want to say. And then, you know, in reality, the entire conversation is really about nothing because what you really wanted to say, you were too afraid to say. So that comes back to like the ego and pride. As men, we have that, we carry it. But it's something that we got to make sure we set that to the side because you're having a conversation with your significant, especially if it's your wife.
Right.
Especially if it's your wife. I understand someone you just kicking it with, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Listen, it is what it is, but I mean, someone either you're serious in a serious relationship with, someone you can see yourself with long term, or specifically if it's your wife, you definitely want to make sure you set that to the side so that you can truly elaborate how you feel, and then move forward and grow together, because communicating is only going to allow you to grow as a couple. It's going to allow you to grow as an individual, and it's going to better yourself in your relationship moving forward. So definitely put that pride to the side.
It's been a while since James had an ISO on the wing, huh? It's been a while since he broke somebody down, went to the cup with the left hand. Yeah, I appreciated that. Kev, anything you want to add on this topic?
You know, I think we touched on it, but just, you know, you guys mentioned the transparency, the vulnerability, safe space, you know, reminding women to make it a safe space. We kind of talked about it earlier. I'll say it again, just because I think that's a good action to kind of, not just for men to take away, but if women are listening to kind of hold on to, is understand that it takes a long thought process for somebody to be vulnerable, especially for men, about this emotion and their feelings. So when that space is afforded to you, just be delicate with it, encourage it, you know, and listen. Don't listen to defend, don't listen to respond, listen to understand. And kind of just like try to be the best partner you could be. And I goes on both sides, but women specifically, don't take it personal. Whatever the conversation alludes to, it's just an emotion that might have happened that's not happening at the moment. It's just a reflection. And sometimes I think more so what happens is that women are listening and I don't do that, like but not now, but before. Just listen to the situation so we can get better as a partner and as a group, as a team, so we can do better and do more things in the future. So listen with intention, don't listen with defense. Listen with open heart. I'll just kind of
that. All right, Zoe, bring us home.
That's funny because I actually just sent y'all something funny on IG, which is a nonverbal communication thing. That's why I sent it. This conversation made me think about it, even in its like pettiest, craziest form, and like even that is something that we deal with. I mean, I'm not really good at giving advice because of my personality type is just I just wear my emotions on my sleeve, and I would say try not to make a big deal out of everything
Mm.
when you're trying to communicate. But I think what would make more sense would be to set the bar in the beginning on how you want things to be done. Like
Right.
we're so
Right.
absorbed in how to get while we're courting and how to catch that we never express to the person how to treat us,
Right.
how we want to be treated. Like, and I think that's huge because that's why years later people are, not happy or depressed or whatever it is that
Mhm.
they're going through, and then they go elsewhere. You know what I mean? Like they do other things because they just like, well, and then it's partially our fault. I never told you how to
Right.
drive my car. Like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So I think that's key. Pay attention, and teach them how to deal with you.
Right. I like it. All right, ladies. I think you should have enough ammunition for your first lesson. But nah, we just wanted to kind of get a chance to, talk about communication in men, and I think we did a pretty good job.
After you say, "All right, ladies," I'm like, "Yo, damn, why she?" I'm like, I wasn't trying to call nobody out.
Like that's what we're doing. All right, so we're going to kick it over to Kev now for our latest installment of Hints of Health. Go ahead, bro.
Well, shout out, man. Happy to be here. Happy to share some information. Today's segment for the Hint of Health, we want to just bring out the infrastructure proposal that was sent out by the Biden administration. We think this is a good opportunity just to kind of learn how this is helpful in our health and our day to day. The nation's infrastructure is pretty much outdated, so to speak. So recently, the Biden administration put out a $2.6 trillion funding proposal, which has been required over the next decade. But they're pitching this plan as an investment, essentially to better the community of color, rural Americans, and other burden of decay or lagging modernization with technology within what's happening under, pipe. We talk about white water, highways, bridges, everything you can imagine outside of the air quality, manufacturing, and in housing. And I just think that is interesting because the world is changing in front of our eyes. Technology is becoming widespread, and with even so much with the electric vehicle push, just electric cars push, people are going to be able to have the opportunity to own a car hopefully soon in the near future, just because the bill covers so much, production costs, covers so much tax incentives. And I know that it might sound like it's a lot of money, and it is really a lot of money, obviously, but it's broken down in so many different parts. And all of these parts really are just, here to pretty much make the U.S. competitive. Kind of want to take the edge off a little bit. I think the administration is trying to prepare for what's to come, which is in the future. And I think, they're getting a lot of pushbacks. Well, corporations are getting a lot of pushback because of the tax, the ways that people are going to have to pay for it. The global minimum tax, tax on a book income, which is like when a company invests or when an investor is part of a company, essentially, and you pay your investor back. So that money technically is never really on the books, really, because essentially, like, you just kind of like repaying the people that owe you, but they're looking to tax that income. So it's just kind of like bringing a lot of like conversations, just like in corporation and corporate America. But I think that, the upside to that is that it will offer jobs, it will help our economy become healthier. It'll limit just the combustion within the highways that are close to the urban communities. I think that's where they're going with the idea of it better off. It'll better the African or the colored population because we're so residentially close to the highway. So, I mean, in providing jobs, but I think that, in terms of like the direction, if it sounds promising, it sounds like it's a good plan. It sounds like it'll bring more to the economy, bring more to the world, and hopefully, like, slow down this global climate change. So look out for it, keep up with it, understand what's happening with I know politics isn't a thing for everybody, but I will say the politics does bring out information. Now, knowing that there's a lot of money going to be pumped into electric vehicle, that could just bring so many like thoughts in how to move in that space, or just how to get in, or just knowing that this is where money is being allocated. That's kind of like the push for just kind of keeping up with the politics. So,
I like it. I like the diversity of the Hints of Health. Like you hit on a myriad of different topics within the health. And this is public health, making sure that everybody has clean air and access to all things clean. That's fire. Thanks for that, bro. So over to Zoe for our serenity prayer.
As always, this is part of communicating too. Not only do you need to communicate with who your significant other is, but you need to communicate with the man upstairs. And you need to communicate and say, God grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, like their behavior, the courage to change the things that we can, like telling them how to treat us, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two.
And with that,
You got to have love.
ladies, have some love. Ask your man what they want to eat tonight. Treat him to dinner. Treat him to dinner. We'll see y'all next week.